of person. We have two masses suspended at the two ends of a string which has been passed over some frictionless pulley. Okay? One mass is 1 kilogram, another mass is 2 kilogram. Now both these masses are released from a state of rest. They are released. Okay? Naturally, because this mass is bigger, the gravitational force, weight of this body would be bigger. And because the weight of this body is bigger, then when you leave them, when you release them, this body will start coming downwards. So at the same time, this body will start moving upwards. And the magnitude of acceleration in both the bodies is same. And that acceleration formula earlier in the same chapter we had derived, and that formula was, I told you to remember in words, difference in mass divided by addition of masses into gravitational acceleration. Difference of mass you should take bigger minus smaller, divided by their addition into g. Come on, bigger mass is 2 kg, smaller mass is 1 kg. So here it is 2 plus 1 now. And g value is 9.8 meter per second square. This answer comes out to be 3.267 meter per second square. Now what have they asked in the statement? When this body is likely to touch the ground surface, at that time what is the common velocity of both the blocks? Let us find out. Look, v square minus v0 square equals to 2AD. Third equation of linear motion with constant linear acceleration. Now tell me, because you had started from position of rest, this block started from position of rest, initial velocity is 0. 2 as it is, acceleration you found out 3.267. What about displacement? This block is undergoing displacement from here to here. The displacement is just equal to initial height. Initial height of this block is given to 3 meter. So this displacement is, 3 meter. Now find out v square, you will get it 19.602, and now when you take square root of this is 4.427, that many meter per second. Okay, please remember this acceleration formula in words. Difference in mass divided by addition of masses, difference upon addition, so it's a subtraction upon addition into g. Simple. Next. Look, according to law of conservation of momentum, initial momentum matches final momentum. What is initial momentum? Mass into initial velocity, correct? This I am taking for first body. For second body, you read the statement, second body was initially at rest. For any body which is at rest, it has no momentum. Come on, what about final condition? In the final condition, final momentum of first body is m into vector v1 dash and plus final momentum of second body m into vector v2 dash. Masses of both the bodies are same. Fine. And now take m common and cancel. Just cancel m throughout the equation. You will get it vector v1 equals to vector v1 dash plus vector v2 dash. Tell me if I write so. Look, if I write vector a plus vector b is equal to vector r, correct? Then tell me, what is this? Correct? So this is resultant vector, vector plus vector will give you, sure? Now tell me, what have you got here? this velocity plus this velocity will give you this velocity. Correct? So this must be resultant. This must be. And what was the formula for magnitude of resultant vector? Magnitude of resultant vector was R equals to under root of A square plus B square plus 2AB. Remember? Similarly, magnitude of this, that is V1. Magnitude of this is V1 is equal to under root of V1 dash square plus V2 dash square plus 2V1 dash V2 dash cos theta. Instead of A, I should write V1 dash. Instead of B, I should write V2 dash. Simple. And now tell me, take squares on both the sides. So when you take square here, V1 square, and when you take square here, this square root will vanish. V1 dash square plus V2 dash square plus 2V1 dash V2 dash cos theta. Give it equation number 1. And now the given collision is elastic. Have they given? Yes. Collision is elastic. When the collision is said to be elastic, if kinetic energy gets conserved. So initial kinetic energy should be equal to final kinetic energy for first body half m v1 square. Half m v1 square. Initially the second body did not have any kinetic energy because it was at rest. And what about final kinetic energy of the first body? Half m v1 dash square. Half m v1 dash square. Final kinetic energy of second body. Half m v2 dash square. Half m v2 dash square. Come on, half m. You can cancel throughout the equation. You will get v1 square equals to v1 dash square plus v2 dash square. Give it equation number 2. Now compare equations 1 and 2. Left hand sides are same. Come on, left hand sides are same. Left hand sides are same. So right hand side must be same. Come on, this should be equal to this. That is what I have written here. Correct? And now tell me, v1 dash square getting cancelled. v2 dash square getting cancelled. Then 2v1 dash v2 dash cos theta should be equal to 0. Find out cos theta, take this down. 0 upon anything would be 0. Cos theta is 0, then theta must be 90. Compared to any other numerical book, you will find this method easiest and shortest way, okay, to prove this angle to be 90 degree, okay. Next. You just open the notebook in the period one before last period. You must have written these equations. Open the notes. No talk. Elastic collision in 2 dimensions. Find out that theoretical part. Elastic collision in 2 dimensions. Got it? Elastic collision in 2 dimensions. Come on, conservation of momentum along x-axis. What have you written? M1 V1 equals to M1 V1 dash cos theta 1 plus M2 V2 dash cos theta 2. That is conservation of momentum on x-axis. Wait. Look here now. The same equation I have written here. Look here. M1 V1 plus M2 into 0 because the second body was initially at rest. Come on, M1 V1 dash cos theta 1 plus M2 V2 dash cos theta 2. Now tell me, mass of first body is 15 kilogram. Its velocity initially is 12 meter per second. Come on, this part is 0. Mass of first body is 15 kilogram. Final velocity of first body they are given 8 meter per second. An angle made by momentum of first body finally with x-axis is they are given. That angle is 45 degree. What about mass of second body? 20 kilogram. V2 dash cos theta 2, this part as it is, and now simplify. You'll get V2 dash cos theta 2 from here, and you'll get it, come on, 4.7568, this many meter per second. Wait, give it equation number 1. Whether it is cos theta or sin theta or tan theta, it has got no unit. It has got, so unit of this will be unit of velocity. Unit of, that's what I written here, meter per second. Come on. Just compare the momentum on y-axis initially and after the collision. Have you written that equation? Yes. 0 plus 0. Have you done? Yes, 0 plus 0 equals to m1 v1 dash sin theta 1 minus m2 v2 dash sin theta 2. Why minus? Find the momentum of first body along positive y-axis. Find the moment of second body along negative y-axis. That's why minus. That's why. Look here. 0 plus 0. Same equation are written here. m1 v1 dash sin theta 1 minus m2 v2 dash sin theta 2. Mass of first body 15 kilogram. Final velocity of first body 8 meter per second. This angle they are given 45 degree. What about m2? It is 20 kilogram. v2 dash sin theta 2. This part as it is. This theta 1 angle they are given, come on, 45 degree. Fine. And now simplify this. Sin 45 is 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 comes out with 0.7072. You can simplify. Ultimately you get the value of v2 dash sin theta 2. v2 dash sin theta 2. That value comes out to be 4.2432. 4.24. That many meter per second. Suppose now I am taking a ratio of equation 2 to equation 1. Ratio of equation 2 to? Look here. This upon this will be, come on, this upon this. Come on, this upon this. Look here, this upon this. v2 dash will sin theta rho upon cos theta rho. And now this upon this comes out to be 0.8920. 0.8920. And once you know tan theta, once you know, so many times you have found out value of theta from table of natural tangents in the log table. Similarly, you can find out here also. It comes out to be 41 degree 44 minutes. 41 degree. Great. Now this theta value you can put here also. You can put here also, no problem. But we should not put it here because we don't have the table of nature cosine. Better we should put it here. Come on, put the value of theta 2. How much it is? 41 degree 44 minutes. Put it here. So start with this v2 dash. Everybody look here. v2 dash. Then sine of theta 2. Sine of, what is theta 2? Come on, 41 degree 44 minutes. And that equals to 4.2432. As it is, sine of this angle comes out to be 0.6656. 0.66. This value as it is. Now find out this v2 dash. Transfer this. So this upon this. Come on, this upon this will be 6.375. This many meter per second. We were supposed to find out two values. Magnitude of final velocity of second body and direction of final velocity of second body. The direction is determined by this angle made by final momentum of second body with positive x-axis. That angle we were to find out, and we have found out 41 degree 44 minutes. Okay, next. T equals to under root x plus 3. X is in meter, T is in second. Fine. Find out root x. Transfer this. So it is T minus 3. Take square on both the sides. Square of this will be x. Square of this, come on, T minus 3 whole square. Just put T equal to 0. Put it here. Come on, 0 minus 3 whole square is 9. So because you are finding value of x at time t equal to 0, we should show it by this symbol x0. Say, and it is 0 minus 3 whole square is 9 meter. At t equal to 3 second. At t equal to, put it here. Come on, 3 minus 3, 0 square will be 0. x3 is 0. You are asked to find out, come on, displacement. Displacement is what? Change in x coordinate. Change in x coordinate. That is final x coordinate minus initial x coordinate. So it should be, come on, x3 minus x0. Come on, x3 minus x0. So it is, come on, 0 minus 9. Say 0 minus 9, that is minus 9 meter. Fine. Now they have asked amount of work done in first 6 seconds. First at t equal to 0, come on, x0 is 9. Come on, at t equal to 0, x0 is 9 meter. And now you take time t equal to 6 seconds. Put it here. Come on, 6 minus 3, 3. 3 square is 9. So x6 is 9. x6 is 9 meter. And now, what do you find out? Displacement now. Come on, displacement is d. It is, come on, final x coordinate minus initial x coordinate. 9 minus 9, that is 0. Once the displacement is 0, no work can be done because displacement comes out to be 0. You know work done formula by constant force, Fd cos theta. Fd. What is the displacement right now? It is 0. Put it here. So this part will be 0. Work done is 0. Next. Let us derive two general formula and then we will use them for two different bodies. Okay? No need to derive again and again. Okay? Look, we have one specific slope which has two slopy surfaces and both of them are very smooth. That is, we are supposed to consider them as frictionless. Okay? And this is the height of the slope. And that height is given to 10 meter. I think they have written 10 meter here. Is it so? Yes. Just shift it from here to here. Shift it from here. So otherwise somebody will misunderstand like this is the length of the slope which is 10 meter. Length of the slope is not 10 meter. Height of the slope is 10 meter. Okay? You must write it 10 meter here. Finished? Look now. Talk about first body. Look. This first body, when you release from the top, it will start moving downwards, down the slope. Okay. At the end of what time will it reach here? That is what we have to find out. Come on. D equals to V0t plus 1 by 2 at square. Take this as height h. Take this as length of the slope small d. Length of the slope small d. And take this as angle of slope theta. Then find out sin theta. In this right angle triangle, find out sin theta. Opposite upon hypotenuse. Opposite upon? Opposite is h. Correct? Upon hypotenuse is length of the slope, that will be small d. Now find out d from here. Find out d from here, it will be h upon sin theta. D will be? Because this body started from rest, initial velocity is 0 into t plus 1 by 2. What is this a? Acceleration of the body parallel to the slope. Acceleration of the body, how much? G sin theta. How much? If I am asking you force, then you should tell me mg sin theta. Then you should tell me, if I am asking you only acceleration, you should tell me g sin theta. So this acceleration parallel to the surface of the slope is g sin theta into t square as it is. Now this part is 0. So h upon sin theta I have written here. Come on, 1 by 2 g sin theta into t square. Find out t square. Find out t square. 2h. Come on, 2h. Come on, this g sin theta will come down. Correct? So 2h upon g sin theta to sin theta, sin square theta. Wait. Take now square root on both the sides. Square root of this is t. 1 upon sin square theta. 1 upon square root will be, come on, 1 upon, and now square root of remaining part, it is under root of 2h upon g. Under root of, simple. So now this is general formula. Okay. Now for both the bodies, look, height h is constant. Value of g is also constant. H is constant, g is constant. So as theta will change, come on, time will change. Time will change. For the first body I am writing, instead of t I am writing t1. For the first body, it is just moving down on the slope, having angle of slope how much? 30 degree. So this theta is theta1. Theta is theta1, t is t1. This part is constant. Come on, put the values. Theta1 is, come on, right now 30 degree. H value is, come on, 10 meter. And value of g they have given in the statement 10 meter per second square. Simplify, this answer is 2 root 2 second. 2 root 2. And now for the second body, come on, instead of t, what should I write? T2. Instead of theta, come on, theta 2. What is theta 2 value? Come on, 60 degrees. So this theta 2 is 60 degree. Theta 2 is 60 degree. Under root of 2 into h. Height h is how much? 10 meter. Value of g they have given 10 meter per second square. Simplify, this answer comes out to be 2 root 2 upon root 3. This many seconds. This many. In the examination, they may simplify this value and they may give you decimal point. So you should put the value of root 2, 1.414. 1 point. Root 3 is 1.732. 1 point. Ultimately you can simplify. Okay? Fine. And now they have asked, what about the speed of both the bodies as they reach the bottom of the slope? Let us find out that also. Come on, v square minus v0 square equals to 280. Because both the bodies started from rest, their initial velocity was 0. Come on, acceleration parallel to the surface of the slope is g sin theta. D value from here. D value from here will be, come on, h upon sin theta. H upon D is h upon sin theta. Sin theta will cancel. So v square equals to 2gh. Come on, v square equals to 2gh. V square equals to 2gh. X square root v equals to, come on yaar, under root 2gh. Under root 2gh. G is constant, h is constant for both the bodies. So for both the bodies, the velocity at the bottom of the slope would be same. Would be same. That's why written here v1 equals to v2. v1 equals to v2. And both of them are equal to under root of 2gh. Under root 2gh. G is, come on, 10 meter per second square. H height is 10 meter. Simplify, answer is 14.14. Unit of velocity is meter per second. Correct? Next. Initially, on a horizontal frictionless surface, the two blocks, look here, they have both compressed the spring lying in the middle. Both the blocks have compressed the spring. The compression in the spring is by amount, say, x. Okay? In order to compress an elastic spring having force constant k by amount x, you know what amount of work is to be done? Half kx square. Half k. And exactly same amount of energy is getting stored in the spring in the form of elastic potential energy. Elastic potential energy. Fine. So what is the initial energy with the whole system? Only elastic potential energy. And it is how much? Half kx square. Half k. Wait. From that condition, what we do? We just release the spring, okay? We just leave the two blocks, look. The moment we leave them, what happens? The spring gets expanded, okay? Because of elongation in the spring, come on, it pushes both the blocks away from each other, this way. And by the time the spring achieves its original length, that is its normal condition, after that, it loses the contact with the blocks. At that time, one block is moving towards left side, one block is moving towards, okay. Come on, what will be their final velocities? Let us find out. According to law of conservation of energy, here what happens? There is a decrement in the elastic potential. And at the cost of decrease in elastic potential, there is increase in kinetic energy of both the blocks. Increase in kinetic energy for first block, come on, half mv1 square. Mass they have given as small m. Come on, for the second body, half capital M into v2 square. Correct? This is loss in potential energy. This is gain in kinetic energy. Fine. 1 by 2, I can get it, cancel. So kx square equals to mv1 square plus mv2 square, give it equation number 1. What about conservation of momentum? Momentum towards left hand side should be equal to momentum towards, what is momentum towards left hand side? M into v1, momentum towards right hand side, capital M into v2, give it equation number 2. Find out v2 from here. It will be mv1 upon capital M. mv1 upon capital M. Just put this value of v2 here. Rest of the terms as it is. Come on, 1 by 2 capital M. Look here, 1 by 2. And this is v2 square. Say v2 square. Wait, in this equation you can put it. Come on, in equation 1, we put the value of v2. Kx square as it is. Come on, mv1 square as it is. Capital M as it is. Come on, now v2 square. Say v2 square. Square of this. Square of this. M square, v1 square upon m square. Say m square. Look here. M square, v1 square upon m square. One capital M is getting cancelled. Now kx square as it is. M v1 square as it is. M square v1 square upon capital M. Take m into v1 square, m into v1 square, that much part out. Common. So left inside the bracket from here it is 1. And m into v1 square has gone out. So small m upon capital M. Small m upon. Okay. And now take LCM. capital M will be multiplied here. So capital M plus small m upon capital M. Upon. Now find out V1 square. Find out V1 square. It is x square. Look, x square into k into capital M. Come on, k into. And this part, m into m plus m, this part will come down in the denominator, m into m plus 1. In short, make subject of the equation, come on, V1 square, and now take square root, come on, square root of this will be V1, square root of this will be x, and square root of this part will be under root km upon m into m plus n. Correct? Now simply, you have to put this value of V1 over here. Correct? Start with this, V2 equals to m upon n. Look, V2 equals to into V1, into the same formula V1 I have written here, same formula. Okay? Now this much part I want to take it inside. How can I take it inside? After making it squared. After making it, why? Because there is a square root sign. Because there is a square root sign. If any term I want to take it inside, I have to make it first of all squared, and then after I can take it inside. What is square of this? Square of this will be m square upon m square. Say, look here, m square upon m square. This x as it is, remaining part as it is. Now simplify. Small m getting cancelled, capital M also getting cancelled. So it's now k into m. Say, come on, m into m plus n. Come on, m into m plus n. Now, if you want to remember both the equations at a time without any other tension, look. Simply interchange the two masses, that's all. Interchange the two masses. Look, instead of capital M, what does it appear here? Instead of small m, what does it appear here? Correct? Don't interchange the masses here. It is meaningless. It is meaningless. When you write capital M here, you will write small m here. But addition will remain same. Addition will remain same. So interchange these two masses, that's all. Then you get the formula of V2. Just to remember easily. Okay? Next. We have one circular wire which is very smooth, on which there are two beads. One is A, another is B. What we do, we just push this bead, very little, negligible force we just exert on this, correct? So what will happen on this smooth wire, this bead will start rolling this way, correct? It will come down, fine. By the time it comes from position A to position B, the height of that bead decreases by r plus r. This is radius, correct? This also is radius. R plus r, that is by amount 2r. Height is decreasing. Height is decreasing means there is loss in potential G. Then what happens to that loss in potential G? It is getting converted into increasing kinetic. By the time this bead strikes this bead, at that time, before that instant of collision, before that, the final velocity achieved by this bead, let it be V1. Let it be V1. Okay, look here. According to law of conservation of mechanical G, loss in potential G should be equal to gain in kinetic. Fine. Now M1, loss in potential G, mgy. I'm putting here M1, instead of Y I'm putting Y1. Instead of M I'm putting M1, instead of V I'm putting V1. Okay. Now M1 getting cancelled. G as it is, what about Y1? Y1 is this much decrease in the height. It is R plus R, that is 2R. This 1 by 2 as it is, V1 square as it is. Find out V1 square. 2 2s are 4GR. And now take square root. Come on, V1 equals to under root of 4GR. This much velocity this bead will achieve before striking this bead. Okay? After collision, what happens? After this bead strikes with this bead, what happens? They said in the statement, this bead comes to rest. This bead, and because of the kinetic energy supplied to this bead, now it can rise. And say it rises up to this level only. They said it rises up to that level, which is the level of point O. level of point O is at this much height, so it will achieve only this much height. It doesn't go further because by the time it comes here, velocity becomes zero. Velocity becomes zero. Okay? Now tell me, for the second bit, that is for B, come on, increase in kinetic energy, increase in potential, increase in and decrease in kinetic energy. By the time it goes from B to C, what happens? That kinetic energy goes on decreasing. Decrease in kinetic energy should be equal to increase in potential. Decrease in kinetic energy should be equal to increase in potential. Kinetic energy half mv square. For second body I am writing half m2v2 square. Come on, increase in potential mgy. Instead of m I am putting m2 and instead of y I am putting y2. Wait, m2 and 2 getting cancelled. 1 by 2 v2 square as it is, g as it is. What about y2? Height of second bit from here to here, this much height is same as this much and it is equal to r. It is equal to, so y2 is r. And now find out v2 square. It will be 2gr. Come on, 2gr. Take square root. v2 equals to under root 2gr. Fine. Also, according to law of conservation of momentum, m1 v1 equals to m2 v2. Momentum of first body should be equal to momentum of second body. m1 v1 equals to m2 v2. Why? During the collision, whatever force is exerted because of mutual collision, they are nothing but mutual internal forces. There is no external force exerted on the entire system. That's why you can apply law of conservation of momentum. Momentum of first body should be equal to momentum of second body. This is the initial momentum of the system. This is final momentum of the system. Why this is the initial momentum of the system? Actually, this is before collision and this is after collision. Before collision, what was the mass of first body? m1. And before collision, just before collision, just an instant before, what was the maximum velocity achieved by this body? It was v1. So mass into velocity will give you initial momentum. But after that, after the collision, this bit comes to rest. Okay. But then after what happens? This body achieves velocity v2. Achieves velocity v2. So mass into velocity will give you final momentum. Okay. Why there is no momentum of the second bit over here? Because it comes to rest. It comes to rest here. That's why. So this is the initial momentum just before the collision. This is final momentum just after the collision. Fine. Now m1 as it is. What about v1? v1 we have obtained. Come on. Under root 4gr. Under root 4gr. m2 as it is. What about v2? v2 under root of 2gr. Now come on. Under root of gr from both the sides getting cancelled. Under root of 4 is 2 and here it is under 2. We want m1 upon m2, so it will be under root 2 upon 2. Under root 2 upon 2. Under root 2 upon 2 means what? 1 by root. Okay. They may ask m2 upon m1 in the examination. It will be root 2 upon 1. Got it? Next. Number 8 is very good. Huh? You will require the help of illustration number 11 in that. Number 8 is very good, quite long sum. Read it carefully. They have taken help of the statement of illustration number 11. Okay? And those values which you had found out in illustration number 11, we are going to use them here. Look constantly on the board. While moving from A to B, the sphere was passing through this lowest point. Lowest point is point D. When it is going from A to B, while passing through point D, what is the velocity? We have to find out. Again, after reaching point B, again it moves towards A, this way. Again it passes through this lowest point. Again we have to find out velocity, both the times, okay? Let us find out one by one. While moving from A to D. Let us first of all find out amount of work done by resistive force. Amount of work done against resistive force. Resistive force in that illustration number 11 we have taken by symbol capital R. Come on, work done at that time. What was the wrong thing they done in the textbook? Actually, it is force into displacement. Force into instead of finding the displacement, they had found out in the textbook path length. Say, but this path length is nothing but arc AD. Arc. What is length of arc? Length of arc is radius into angle. Say, radius was taken as small r. An angle from here to here, that angle is pi by 2. This angle is pi by 2. Fine. Now resistive force at that time in some illustration number 11 we had found out, and it was 0.6 Newton. Radius of this tube was given to you 1 meter. Pi value is 3.14. Simplify. It is 0.942 that many joule. Now here the body had only potentially. By the time it comes here. By the time it comes here, what happens? Some of the energy is wasted in the form of heat, while doing work against resistive force, and wait. Remaining energy is in the form of kinetic energy. Remaining energy in the form of, okay, so I'm writing potential G is equal to work done against resistive force plus remaining energy is in the form of kinetic energy. Now potentially from here to here, the height is decreasing by amount r. So mgy, y is r. Wr as it is, half mv square as it is. What about mass of the body? It was given to 0.314 kilogram. G value is 10 meter per second square, and radius is 1 meter. Wr we have found out 0.942. Half as it is. Mass of the body 0.314 kilogram into v square. From here you get v square equal to 14. Once v square is 14, then v will be under root 14. Under root 14 meter per second. Same procedure here also, bit difficult. Look, body is going from B to D. Fine. Now again apply this equation. Potential G. Before finding that potential G, let us go for finding amount of work done against resistive force, the way we had found out here. Amount of work done against resistive force, it is resistive force multiplied by path length. So this much path length are required. This much path length is nothing but arc BD. Arc of a circle, it is what? Radius into angle. Radius is r. Into angle. Look, this much angle in that figure they had given pi by 3. How much? Wait. This r was found out at the time 0.6 Newton. Radius is 1 meter. Pi value is 3.14 upon 3. This comes out to be 0.628 that many joule. But now potentially at B, it is now getting converted into partly into work done against resistive force, and remaining energy still in the form of kinetic energy while passing through point D. So potential is equal to work done against resistive force plus remaining energy is possessed by the body in the form of kinetic energy. Now what about UB? It is mgy. Say mg. Now height is decreasing by this much amount. Look here, this much. This much means this much. This much means this much. And this much means what? Total distance is r and minus this much distance. What is this? Component of r adjacent to pi by 3. Component of r is r cos pi by 3. R cos. So I should take r minus r cos pi by 3. R minus r cos pi by 3. Look here, r minus r cos pi by 3 will give me this much height. That is a loss in height. That's why there is loss in potential. Work done against resistive force, we have found out 0.628, and this is half mv square. Now mass of the body is 0.314, G value is 10, R is 1 meter. Cos 60, sin 30 is 1 by 2. WR is 0.628, 1 by 2, mass of the body is 0.314 kilogram. Velocity square we want to find out. V square comes out to be exactly 6, so V will be under root 6. We will be, you got how I found out this height? This much height is what? This minus this. What is this much? Component of r adjacent to pi by 3. It is r cos pi by 3. R cos. So r minus r cos pi by 3. R minus. V square minus V0 square equals to 2AD. By the time the bullet travels by 6 cm inside the block, its velocity reduces to half of initial velocity. Half of so this final velocity is half of initial, so I am writing v0 by 2. This v0 square as it is, come on, 2 as it is, what about distance travel? It is 6 centimeter. Let it be in centimeter only, no problem. 6 2s are 12a, fine. Now this 12a will be how much? v0 square upon 4 minus v0 square. v0 square I can take common, 1 by 4 minus 1, that is minus 3 by 4. And now find out a. Take this 12 down, okay? Come on, 3 4s are 12, 4 4s are 16. So it is minus v0 square upon 16, and unit of acceleration, because you have taken this distance in centimeter, unit of acceleration, be careful, right? Centimeter upon second square. Fine. Now I want to find out total distance that can be travelled by the bullet inside the block till it comes to rest. Okay. V square minus v0 square equals to 2a d dash. I want to find out total distance d dash. Come on, final answer is 0. Initial velocity v0 square as it is. 2 as it is. What about deceleration? Deceleration we found out minus v0 square upon 16. This deceleration is minus v0 square upon 16 into d dash. Find out d dash from here. It comes out to be 8 centimeter. 8. Read the statement again. What have they asked? What additional distance will it travel? What? What? So total distance is 8 centimeter. And initially it had traveled 6 centimeter. So what additional distance it has covered before coming to rest? 8 minus 6. 8 minus, that is 2 centimeter is your final answer. Okay.
If you have remembered the last numerical in the exercise of chapter number 5, we had derived the same result, and the same result we have to derive here also, but using another approach, that is using work energy theorem. We are supposed to derive the same result, and that result was mu equals to 2 tan theta, correct? But what was the physical situation? I am showing you, I am just trying to remind you. Look here. Here we have a slopy surface having angle of slope equal to theta and having coefficient of friction as mu. Okay, fine. Now we were given one block which was released from the top from the state of rest. Half of the surface of the slope is without friction, that is ideally smooth, and remaining half of the surface was rough with friction. Okay. When the block is moving from here to here, it is accelerated downwards this way, so its velocity goes on increasing, correct? At this midpoint of this length, the velocity becomes maximum, but then after it has to move on a rough surface where it has to overcome the friction, and in doing so it will be getting slowed down. So when it moves from here to here, its motion is being retarded, it is being decelerated, its velocity goes on decreasing, and finally when it comes here at the bottom, it becomes stationary. Okay, fine. From here to here, there is increase in the kinetic energy. From here to here, there is a decrease in the kinetic energy, correct? Initial kinetic energy was 0 because the block started its motion from state of rest, and final kinetic energy here at the bottom is also 0 because the block stops, it becomes stationary. Got it? Fine. Now if you consider this much length of the slope as small d, then this also will be small d because this is the midpoint. Okay. Now here when the block moves from here to here, from top to bottom, the force parallel to the slope and downwards, it is the gravitational force component, and it is mg sin theta, mg sin theta. Now under the influence of this force, this block when it comes from here to here, the work done by it, let it be W1. Okay. Then you know formula of work done by constant force. It is constant force multiplied by displacement multiplied by cos theta. Constant force right now it is mg sin theta. displacement from here to here, it is d plus d, that is 2d, correct, multiplied by cos theta, where theta is angle between force and displacement. This force is in this direction and displacement is also in the same direction. Because these two vectors are in the same direction, then angle theta would be 0 degree, cos 0 is 1. So, it is now 2 mg d sin theta, 2 mg d sin theta, give it equation number 1, correct. Now, by the time block comes from here to here, it has to overcome this frictional force exerted by this rough surface, but that frictional force is exerted on the contact surface of the block in just opposite direction, opposite to the direction of displacement, correct. And that frictional force is F equals to mu n, where mu is coefficient of friction, capital N is normal force, correct, fine. The work done by frictional force F, let it be W2. Again, it is constant force multiplied by displacement multiplied by cos theta. Constant force is F, which is frictional force right now, small f. Displacement from here to here, it is only d, and multiplied by cos theta. Theta is angle between force and displacement. Frictional force is in this direction, displacement is in just opposite direction, that is why angle is 180 degree. Cos of 180 degree is minus 1. Formula of F, it is mu into n, small d as it is. Now, minus mu n equals to, for a block lying on the surface of slope with angle of slope equal to theta, you must have remembered the formula of normal force. It was n equals to mg cos theta, n equals to mg cos theta, d as it is, okay. So, in short it is minus mu into m into g into d into cos theta, give it equation number 2, correct. Come on, according to work energy theorem, W equals to delta K. This is total work done, this is the change in kinetic energy. Come on, total work done, which is the total of these two, W1 and W2. So, I am writing W1 plus W2, correct. What about change in kinetic energy? It is final minus initial. Finally, when the block came here, it became stationary. So, final kinetic energy is 0. When it had started, initial kinetic energy was 0 because it had started from this state of rest. So, final kinetic energy is also 0, initial kinetic energy was also 0. What is W1? It is 2 mg d sin theta, 2 mg d sin theta. What is W2? It is minus mu mg d cos theta, minus mu mg d cos theta, correct, and that equals to 0. And now transfer this term, from minus it will become plus, okay. Simplify, mg getting cancelled, d also getting cancelled. Transfer this cos theta here in the denominator. So, it is 2 into sin theta upon cos theta, it will be tan theta, and that equals to mu. So, what have you proved? Mu equals to 2 tan theta, mu equals to 2 tan theta, correct. Same result we had derived in the last numerical of chapter number 5. The same result we have derived here also using work energy theorem. Got it?